Frank Leboeuf is with us as well. Frank, what did you make of Mourinho's comments?
Well, I cannot more agree to what Alejandro and Craig just say. I think Moreno is the last one to believe of what he's just said, and we're not deaf, and we, I think, a little bit more clever than he thinks. We know a little bit of football, and we know what he does. He always places the debate to another spot. Like the players are tired. Well, I saw only Leipzig players having cramps. I didn't see any Tottenham player having cramps. And in fact, he does that to get an excuse. It's like putting Dele Alli out, and you see Dele Alli upset, so he's going to talk tomorrow about that, and not talking about how he makes his team play. And the fact that Mourinho never accepts the evolution of football, and the evolution of football is to accept to have your team unbalanced. Leipzig showed it today, Dortmund showed it yesterday, Liverpool does it every time, Manchester United, City, and Barcelona does it as well. That's the evolution of football. You cannot have the first thought of just defending and get your team balanced, because it doesn't work anymore. It might work when I was playing for Chelsea with Craig, but it doesn't work anymore. Now you have to find something and take more risk to create something. And Mourinho is not, I wouldn't say is getting vintage maybe, but he has to get another thought about talking about football and making his team playing, because that's quite appalling to see Tottenham with all the names and the talent that they have playing that sort of football, when you see Leipzig with mostly unknown players playing so much better than them and getting a result.
Apparently he's had a little wander out of a press conference. Whenever somebody asked a question, I was just reading some of the journalists in England, whenever somebody dared to ask a question that involved the words playing badly,
right,
and he took apparently he's taken umbrage to it, and had a little wander off. So he's not happy. As Ali said, he's deflecting. You know, when I saw his first game at West Ham, and it was his first game, they played some great stuff and they won. And then the next couple of games, they were still playing that free-flowing football. And I know they were struggling under Pochettino at the end, and for whatever reason, they've gone a bit stale or whatever. And I thought, wow, I wonder if he just thinks, I'm quite lucky to have some of these players, because actually they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're very attacking, and I'm just going to keep this free-flowing thing going. And I'm going to try and add a bit of steel to the defence. I think people would have been pretty happy with that. But he's gone full Buna, full back. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've said it along, when you're getting bossed by Southampton in 2 legs, when you're getting bossed by some of the teams in the lower half of the Premier League, even at home, in terms of possession, you might be winning, but you're not bossing the game, so you're not giving yourself the best chance, and you're certainly not entertaining the fans. It's going to become a problem. This result is no surprise in its own. You know, when you take it on its own entity, it's no surprise. We would sit here yesterday thinking Tottenham were going to boss the game. But what is maybe it shouldn't be, but what is a shock is his defence of the way his side played.
Leipzig, though,
great.
Really good.
Yeah.
And they'll be disappointed. They will be disappointed, which just tells you a whole tale about this game, that they're leaving London with a 1-0 lead. They'd have felt it should have been 3 or 4.
And I have to tell you, as good a player as Timo Werner was today and has been for the club, clearly you see a player that is not as confident as he should be. And this lack of confidence is not just today, but you saw that against Bayern Munich as well a couple of weeks ago, where the chances fell to him, to the ideal player to put those chances away. And once again today, in the one in which he takes a first touch is a bad first touch, second touch is a bad second touch, and then he just kind of toe pokes it right at Hugo Lloris, you can see the picture of a player who's not quite at the level that he would like to be. Having said that, he is so critical to the success of Leipzig because of his movement with and without the ball. He stretches defenses. He creates spaces for another. The one play in which he lets the ball go through his legs for Patrick Schick has a clear 100% chance on Hugo Lloris, and Lloris makes a save. But you can say that about all the players in Leipzig, that they have a certain pace with which they play. And they all believe in that system of play. They all believe in that attitude and intensity in which they're going to go 100 miles per hour. They're going to push it. They're going to force mistakes from you. And when there are mistakes, then they're going to go after you. And they're going to attack you and they're going to create chances. Today, they did not put away those chances. But I have to tell you, you watch both teams play, and you know there is a plan in place for Leipzig, and there's a lot of hanging on from Spurs.
That was a great line, wasn't it? You come out when he said, you know, they take off in Kunku and they bring on Poulsen, then they take another pair, they bring on Forsberg, right? It's absolutely laughable. I mean, these are decent enough players, but they've got Aki playing at the back from Chelsea because of injuries, taking cramps at the end because he hardly played. On the bench for Tottenham, he's got one of the best defenders in Europe over the last decade, Jan Vertonghen. You know what I mean? He can't make that. Well, he's making an argument that just doesn't make sense. They're not bringing off the bench somebody from. It's not like Manchester City. You know, they're not bringing on Bernardo Silva and Sergio Aguero and Leroy Sané. You know, it's absolutely ludicrous. He's turning Tottenham into. He's morphing Tottenham. Unfortunately for them, they might win a trophy or two, but whatever they're paying for the season ticket at Tottenham, mark my words, they're not going to get value for money.
Right then, Frank, who's going through?
Leipzig. I think even if they can be disappointed with the result, I think they show quality. Do you know what they showed? They showed freedom in the system. They showed something that you cannot get if you're not happy to play football with the system that you have. Is the feeling that you can try something and it's going to happen. And it's why I don't see Tottenham. They stuck in their defensive system with what Mourinho thinks and want, that they cannot free themselves. Where Leipzig, they're going to go everywhere. They're going to run, like Craig said, you know, like for 90 minutes, 100 miles an hour. And they're going to push Tottenham to make mistakes. So I don't see, and it would be for me a miracle to see Tottenham winning over there within in 15 days, because Leipzig is so superior so far to the Spurs.
You said Leipzig before this game.
Let me just correct myself. I do apologise.
Oh,
I meant Ampadu at the back.
Oh, okay.
I got my wires crossed. But the point stands. Tottenham. Couple of passes. What was impressive, just quickly, was how quickly Leipzig won the ball back. So they asked Tottenham, "Do you want to try and play out, or do you want to lump it long?" So when they lumped it long, they got it back. They played. If they tried to play out, which wasn't often, they won it back, and then they played. It's hard to see how that's going to work for Tottenham again in Germany. So, barring a disaster, Leipzig.
This is what I see from Leipzig. I see a team that has an identity, embraces that identity, and thrives with that identity. What I see from Spurs is a team that has a coach with an identity that's trying to implement that and force that upon a team that is not quite sure that this is the way that they want to play. They don't feel comfortable doing it. They're an in-between team, absorbing pressure, trying to go on the counter. That's a game that Leipzig is better at than Spurs is. So I don't have any doubt in thinking that Leipzig is going to advance out of this tie.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.